The heads of major social media companies are set to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee about keeping kids safe online.
The high-profile hearing comes as efforts to regulate social media nationwide ramp up, sparked by concerns from parents.
NBC News youth and internet culture reporter Callan Rosenblatt joins us now with more on what we can expect ahead of this hearing. Hi, Callan. Good morning. So this is the CEOs of TikTok, Meta, Snap, X, all these major platforms that are expected to testify. What information is the Senate Judiciary Committee looking for specifically from these leaders?
Good morning, Savannah and Joe. So it appears these leaders on Capitol Hill, what they're looking for is information about how these tech CEOs are planning to protect children from harmful content, particularly from content that sexually exploits children and that is sexually exploitive that children could access. So they're really going to look to hear how these tech CEOs are planning to prevent this content from getting to children, but also how they're planning to prevent children from partaking in this kind of content. Additionally, it appears that they're going to be looking for these tech CEOs to make commitments to legislation that's already circulating in Washington, D.C. For example, ahead of this hearing, Snap, which is Snapchat, has already come out in favor of the Kids Online Safety Act, which is also known as KOSA. Now, that's an act that is bipartisan. It's gotten a lot of support on Capitol Hill, and experts tell me this law looks great on paper, but could be very difficult to enforce in practice. So it looks like these leaders, these lawmakers, are looking to get these sort of these assurances from these tech CEOs. But experts say that it may not be as simple as just signing up or supporting these pieces of legislation.
So, Callan, have we seen any significant progress among social media companies in their efforts to try and create safeguards to help keep kids safe online? Could we see some concrete steps come out of this hearing today?
Joe, it appears that these social media companies are constantly trying to create safer environments for children and to keep harmful content off of these platforms. Now, they've constantly been rolling out these safeguards. Even ahead of this hearing, Meta rolling out ways for parents to be able to supervise and prevent certain messages getting to their young children. But is it enough for these lawmakers? We constantly see these stories come out about how social media negatively impacts young people's mental health, how these sexually explicit content, including some AI-generated content, gets onto these platforms. And it seems that these lawmakers want more concrete evidence that these tools work. I'm sure we'll see more tools come out of this particular hearing, but it seems a constant cat and mouse game trying to keep up with this kind of content.
Callan, this comes at a time when we've seen a lot of attempted legislation across the country about social media companies, right? Montana trying to ban TikTok altogether, Florida trying to raise the minimum age for teens to be able to use this to 16. And we're also kind of suddenly hearing these CEOs for the first time back some of this legislation. Do you think that says anything about how they're feeling or how concerned they might be about some of this legislation?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at a point where people are kind of scrambling and asking for oversight at this point, right? I mean, we see a lot of laws coming out at the state level that are looking to protect child labor on these platforms. And so it does appear that there is this push to get some regulation out there. But as I mentioned, experts say it's kind of messy. This KOSA law, or it's the Kids Online Safety Act, it would basically enshrine that these platforms have to protect their young users. But what is harmful content? I mean, that has a wide range. And if each state is sort of enforcing it on a different level, we may see this fracture of information. So it's a really hard space to regulate. And social media, as we all know, is very nebulous, and it can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. But the fact of the matter is people really do want to see some regulation for social media platforms, and we have to start somewhere. I think people are looking at this legislation as at least a start.
All right, Callan Rosenblatt, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.